Hey, what's up, guys? I just thought to make a little video of my first amp install with a 10-inch subwoofer. The amp is a Rockford Fosgate Punch 45.2, and this is the original amp that came out back in the day. That was pretty well known. A buddy of mine gave me this amp many years ago, and I just so happened to find it when I was taking down the Christmas decorations from my attic. So when I was clearing out the attic from the decorations, I found the amp. I go, man, I wonder why I haven't used it. And well, now that I found it, I went ahead and just bought a 10-inch subwoofer. I saw it on sale at Best Buy for like 30 bucks. So I said, oh, what the hell, not knowing that the amp worked or not. So I said, well, I mean, the Polk Audio woofer is a 10-inch subwoofer, and it's the DXi 104 DVC, and it's at 4 ohms dual. And of course, not knowing much about subwoofers and stuff like that and amps, I actually bought the wrong woofer, because I just bought one, and I actually should have bought 2 of them to make it work correctly with this amp. But nonetheless, I just I learned as I went. But yeah, this is the original Punch 45, and I just thought to make a quick video about this and about my install with my Ford F150 2002. So I'll show you a little bit more of the amp and my installation. Alright, I went ahead and took off the heat sinks that come with it on the side, just to show you the Fosgate amp and just the connections and the options that it has. Like I said, I found this in my attic, so not knowing if it's still good or not, so I just went ahead and just bought that, Polk Audio 10-inch subwoofer, just to test it out to make sure it worked. And if it didn't work, well, I was only out 30 bucks, so that's not too bad. I went ahead and wired the subwoofer for 8 ohms. Okay, here's my Polk Audio subwoofer. It's the DXi 104 DVC. It's 2 coils, which means 2 sets of positive and negatives. I went ahead and wired it for 8 ohms. I did a jumper cable right here that goes from positive on one side to negative on the other. And then I did another cable that goes negative to positive. And that should read out 8 ohms on the meter here. Close enough. So all there is left to do is go ahead and put this in the my box, and then wired it up to the Punch 45 amp. Doing my research and getting on some sites, a lot of people recommended that I set it up as a 8 ohm. I could set it up as 8 ohm or 2 ohm, since it's a 4 ohm dual. Like I said, I made a mistake not knowing the specs on the Punch 45, so they recommended I run it at 8 ohms, since that would be the safest. And running it at 2 ohms, it could shut down the amp because it just was pushing too hard. Alright, I went ahead and ran the power from the battery from here, and and I got the fuse connected right there. I don't have the fuse connected yet, and pretty much just ran the cable all the way through there. And if you can see, there's a grommet on the Ford right there. So I just pretty much just made a hole and just ran the 8-wire gauge power right through there. Come around the driver's side. Let me take this mat off. And you can. Let me get a flashlight. If you can see, it runs from the firewall right through there, and pretty much just ran the cable all alongside through here, and just pretty much disconnect the floor plastic. I'm gonna grab it from one end, just pull it. And just pull this weather strip off to the side, and same thing, just pull this plastic off and it should snap out. So there's my cable. I put a little tie down there, that way it just wouldn't be too loose, and pretty much just ran it all alongside here, and I didn't tie it down, so it's just pretty much just loose around the side, and I just went ahead and just fed it along the bottom to the back side. And the same thing, just remove this plastic cover. Best to do from this side over here. It should pop out, and you might have to remove this a little bit just so you can get the wire and just pull it. I went ahead and just got it, and I ran it right onto the carpet. And I actually ran it all the way down here, and I fed it onto the carpet all the way to right there. Okay, I'm on the other side of the truck, just so you can have a better look what I'm talking about. And went ahead, and there's an opening under the carpet right here. It was a little tough, but it just didn't take too long. But you just have to make sure you use a long metal rod that's flexible, and just went ahead and just pulled it out from here. And here's my cable. And the other one, this is the ground wire. I actually made a mistake, and I used the same red cable, not knowing that I had this black one here. But I'll be making that adjustment here a bit later. So I went ahead and just removed the bolt from the seat frame, removed the bolt, and went ahead and just grounded the cable right there. And it's a short one. You don't want your ground wire to be too long, and that's it. All right, now I'm going to show you the cables running from my stereo off to the amp. The stereo I have is a Sony MEX BTU 3800U. So it makes things a lot easier when you're hooking up the RCA cables and the remote turn on for the amp. So first thing you have to do is just remove this panel here. Just pretty much grab it corner if you can, and just pop it out. And then for me, I had to remove this plastic housing around it. And unfortunately, I lost the tool to remove my stereo head unit. Like I said, it's a Sony MEX BTU 3800, and I managed to find these tool replacement. Pretty much grab anything that's hard enough and it's not wide enough that you can fit in between here. You got to jiggle it a little bit. You go slide it right in, and then on the other side do the same thing. You could possibly use a fork if it's thin enough and not big enough, and it'll fit in between the crevice in here. So once you got that in there, maybe you also remove the face on it. You don't want to damage it. Alright, just go ahead and just start pulling. And if you have problems, go ahead and use a screwdriver gently. Use the edge. and make sure you don't tug on it too hard, because you don't want to break the plastic where it snaps your stereo in there. Then you can take these metal deals off and then just pull on your stereo. And as you can see, these are my RCA jacks, the cable that goes to my amp, and I'm going to show you where the cable goes along. Plug these back in. Okay, I got those plugged back in. It doesn't matter which one's which, you just plug it in. And here is my remote turn on for the amp. So pretty much I just use black tape, electrical tape, to tie them together. I don't have any soldering iron or solder, but that would probably be the best way. You could probably even crimp it, but I just elected to use the electrical tape. And that's pretty much it. Just plug in your two cables, your RCA and the remote turn on for the amp, and then just gently push it back in. Just be careful you don't pinch any wires when you're pushing it back in there. So what I ended up doing, I ran my cables, my RCA and my remote amp turn on down here, and it was a little bit hard. I ran it down there behind it, and you can probably see some of the cables a little bit down there. So I ran it down to the left. Okay, push my unit back in there. Make sure it snaps. Okay, I ran my RCA cables and a remote amp turn on. You can see right here. And my RCA right there. I ran it behind and the bottom part, and along to the passenger side. Let me go around. Okay, passenger side. Went ahead and ran the cable down right here, and from under the carpet, I went in and just pulled this back, and go ahead and snap this plastic off, and then your rubber sealant for the door, and pull this panel out. You can see I have both cables running right here. They're pretty loose. I don't have them running too tight because I want them to have some kind of play. I don't want them to break when something happens. I just want them to have a little bit of a slack and give. And all along the edge here. And I went ahead and just fished it all the way across. Alright, come back to the back door. And just go ahead and remove this little plastic panel. And I fed it all along through here. And I brought it out to back here. I could probably do a little bit better job and just fish it a bit more. That way the wires aren't exposed and you don't see them, and it's a cleaner install. And then just run it back here. This is where I'm going to put my my amp. And that's pretty much it on that part. I'll show you once I got the amp installed and all hooked up.